Hey gang, I'm super excited to be coming to you live from the Maple with another episode of the Power9 podcast. We're going to do something a little bit different today. So I have my first shot at this. My guest today, Brian Adamek, has been on the show before. If you want to hear his story, you can go back to episode 33, maybe middle of last year, something like that.
That sounds right. Yeah.
But so we're going to do something new every few episodes called Scrambled Eggs. A little play on my last name, and we're just going to mix some things up.
I didn't catch on to that.
I know, right?
I like it.
You're my first
first
victim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
So let's do this. All right, so a couple things. One, Brian Adamek has been on the podcast before. I screwed his name up when I opened, and then I closed strong because I got his name right.
You close strong. You always do.
So you got to finish strong. And so I finished strong on that. So I got it right this time, too. Brian Adamek, like Big Mac.
Yeah.
And then also you're a community supporter. And so a big part of what I want to be able to do is share a little bit more about your business.
Yeah.
We did a lot about your journey last time.
Yeah.
But this time I want to dig into kind of a little bit around your process.
Okay.
But because it's Scrambled Eggs, we're not going to spend a ton of time on that.
No.
We're going to also just talk about some random stuff.
I like it.
All right? So we're going to scramble some things up.
Okay.
So let's get the businessy stuff out of the way. I know from the last time that we got together, and I just know from knowing you, that your target audience, the people you enjoy working with, are entrepreneurs, specifically entrepreneurial couples.
Yeah.
So one of the questions I had that I didn't have an opportunity to ask before is in a lot of cases, entrepreneurial couples, I think there's the male that is the entrepreneur, and then the female that is maybe an employee or not the entrepreneur. Yeah. There is the female that is the entrepreneur, and the male is not an entrepreneur. Yeah. Has a job or whatever. Yeah. And then there's situations like myself where my wife and I both own businesses. Yeah. Can you break those into percentages of like what your client base looks like and the types of people that you work with in those respects?
That's a good question. I would say of the business owner entrepreneurs that I work with, let's say out of every 10 that I work with, it seems to be that probably 6 of the 10 are the male entrepreneur. Yep. Probably 3 of them would be flipped where the female is the entrepreneur. Yep. And then probably just maybe one, maybe even less than 10% is there's 2 entrepreneurs. Yeah. That's quite interesting on your side, just because it's pretty dynamic to have 2 entrepreneurs and kind of the skill set and just kind of the balancing act between spouses. I don't see it as often. Yeah. But yeah.
So when you meet, then let's use let's take that small percentage that I am out of that, and so you've got the entrepreneur and then the person that comes alongside them. Yeah. All right. So when you're sitting down with them and you're doing we'll get into your visioning process and talking about like how you go through that a little bit. But when you go through that, do you find that the person that is the non-entrepreneur plays a more active role in the conversation, or do they play a less active role and let the entrepreneur take the lead, or is there a balance on that too?
There's a balance on that, but I think what I do, or what I have to do to help facilitate the conversation, is be intentional about not always looking to the entrepreneur to answer the question, and be intentional about getting feedback from both spouses, the entrepreneur, business owner one, and then the non-business owner. Yeah. Because, and this has just been feedback from my own clients, is the spouse of the entrepreneur has told me that they felt heard. And that's what you need when you're doing financial planning and visioning, is you have to address their concerns. And most couples that I work with, entrepreneur, if it's male or female, they want their spouse to be heard. Yep. Because they know that, just the friction, not necessarily in the relationship, but just like, how are we going to get there? Yeah. Like, we want to support them. But yeah, that's how we kind of see it. So just, I guess I'll say, be intentional about giving that other person a voice, because their voice is real, and usually they're the ones that have the higher concerns compared to sometimes the overly confident entrepreneur.
Yeah, and I don't mean it in any like respect/disrespect
Yep.
either way between the two. I just wonder. I find it curious if the entrepreneur is focused on building and growing their business.
Yep.
That person that they're going alongside with is going to be a little bit more focused on their personal finances and their personal journey moving forward.
Yeah.
Or if you just see that it's a mutual thing, or is it
I think
like
that's
me
a-
being my crazy type A self, right? Like I always got to have my dirty little mitts and all of
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yep.
Like
I-
I'm curious about
I
that.
think that's a fair comment in saying that the spouse of the entrepreneur might be a little bit more focused on how it hits home on the personal finances.
Yep.
The entrepreneur typically is going to be more focused on the growth within the business.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say that's probably a fair statement. Is that usually that the spouse is going to have more of their, hey, how are we gonna figure out how much to save for retirement, how to fund kids' education, to whatever, buy this real estate. Like usually the entrepreneur side of it is going to be highly focused on just the growth of the business.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your process. So when you first engage with somebody,
Yeah.
and they're like, all right, Brian, let's do this thing. We're going to work with you. And
Yep.
what does that initial first couple meetings look like?
Yep.
I'm not talking about in detail here, right?
No,
Like, give me a
yep.
high level, but like how long is that first meeting, and how often do you meet at the very beginning when you're just starting to dive into things?
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you the quick rundown. So we always start with a discovery call, right? So that's just a quick 10, 15, 20-minute phone call conversation and just say, hey, what are your pains? What do you need help with? What type of guidance are you looking for?
Yep.
And can we be a fit? Right. So we're just hearing like, where do you need help? Very simple. And then we say, oh, actually, yes, that is something we can help you with. Let's move you on to the next step. Or no, actually, here's a better fit, or here's some guidance around there. So discovery call to like a discovery meeting, initial consultation. The discovery call, initial consultation, there's no cost for that. So the initial consultation, we ask, hey, if we want for the meeting to be as productive as possible and for you to get as much out of it, here's some homework to bring to it, right? And so it's usually like, some of the financial stuff and just kind of around their net worth. But I say, if you don't want to bring it, you don't have to, but just know, like, I'm going to give you guidance regardless if we move forward or not. So in that initial consultation is where we usually will spend probably a good chunk of the time on our visioning exercise. And this is actually where I've tweaked the way that we've done it over the past, and I just really like how we do this because it actually has a lot of similarities of how you visioning your own like business growth. And so the way that we do it is I don't vision out any more than 10 years because, I would say almost for everyone, but specifically business and entrepreneurs, like looking beyond 10 years is just like, does that even exist type of thing? It's hard to think beyond that. And so it's simply just saying, okay, tell me ideally, what does life look like in 10 years? Okay, what are the activities that you're doing? What's important to you? And you let them kind of take it from there. They might focus on their career, their business. They might focus on family life. Oh, my kids will be this age or whatever. We simply do it. What does it look like in 10 years?
Yep.
What does it look like in 3 years?
Yeah.
What are the activities you're doing then? And then what does it look like in 1 year?
Yeah. And
then what we're doing, my team, is then we know then to take out, okay, well, this topic is relevant to your situation that we'll have to address within your financial plan. You just tell us the vision. And now we know, like, okay, this is going to hit on taxes.
Yep.
This is going to potentially hit on, maybe trust and estate. This is like, we need to save short-term, long-term. What type of investment vehicle do we do that? And so you just tell us the vision, then we can kind of pick that out, right?
Yeah.
And then from there, we will come back and do an assessment review, and we basically say, hey, these are the areas of focus along with the pain points that you have that we're going to work on. And it's basically a proposal with our fee on that. And then if they want to move forward, if we move forward, then we basically kind of go into we'll call it a sprint for 90 days, right? Again, this is similar to a lot of like business stuff, right? Is we're going to say, okay, we're going to have momentum in those first 90 days. Here's all the topics that relevant to your financial plan, but we're going to focus on these 2 to 3. And so we'll address those in the first 90 days and get them implemented and get set. And then after that 90 days, we'll still work together, but like, entrepreneurs, people are just busy with work and family. So trying to commit to more than 3 meetings in 90 days can be tough.
Oh yeah.
And so then from there, the relationship is we have standardized kind of, I always tell my clients at a minimum after that first year, we have to meet 2 times at a minimum, but we're on call.
2 times a year?
2 times a year at a minimum is
Yep.
what we say.
Yep, that's good.
And so we do a spring, and we're actually going right through our fall strategic planning reviews right now. But just know that you have us on call. So when life events happen, we'll be there for you. I tried doing quarterly, and that just seemed to be too much for my clientele. And so, so the kind of the process after that first year, and that first year could be 3 meetings, it could be 10 meetings, depending on their complexity.
Yeah. So I did this thing when I was transitioning out of my previous business into whatever my future was going to be pre-Coalition9. And I was listening to the Tim Ferriss podcast.
Yep.
And he had Debbie Millman on, and Debbie Millman is a design professor at NYU.
Yeah.
And she's, I don't know the name of her business. I think she's kind of bounced around, but she's kind of like the brainchild around the rebrand of General Mills the last time they did it. She's done a bunch of stuff with McDonald's, like big brands, right?
Yeah.
So when someone comes into design whatever
Yeah.
in at NYU, the first thing she has them do is write me a narrative on what your life looks like in 10 years and get very detailed. Like I don't want to see you for another week and I want you to bring that back. And so she's been doing this for years and years and years and years and years. And so now I listened to this like 7 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And so they come back after 10 years, and she said it's fascinating how many people take that and have applied it to their life, touch on it, but also the people that have ignored it, and they've veered off track.
Yeah.
Okay. So I kind of assimilate that to your process of like, okay, you've got the check-ins a couple times a year, but I think at the very beginning of like really diving into, and I almost think that there's a little bit of like psychology behind this.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a little bit of like, I don't know, for the lack of, like, there's an intimacy to that.
Yeah.
And so one is it sounds to me like that's a little bit like your process, but it's a little bit more on the financial side. So, but I don't think it is. I think that it's a blend, right?
Yeah.
Like people talk about the essence of what they want it to feel like in 10 years.
Yeah.
Probably, right?
What you're hitting on is actually in the psychology part of it too, is something that what we call intentional alignment. And so what we're doing there is understanding their core passions, their core values. And so understanding what's important to them. And then it's like, and I got this from a similar, like, good to great. And so we understand their core passions, their core values. We understand the activities that they find joy in. And then that third piece is the financial health part of it. And so meaning that all 3 of them have to be aligned, because if you're doing your core values and your passion and your activities, but you're not doing that in a financially fit way, that's not going to be healthy.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Or let's just say you're really financially healthy and these are your strong core beliefs, but you don't do any of the activities to actually live that out. Well, that's not alignment. And so like what we say is on that financial health side of it, that's where really you're kind of hiring us to help, but we're also helping facilitate those other pieces. Just you're telling us what's important. We're just going to kind of hold you to it.
Yeah. Do I remember that? Do you do tax stuff?
I did in my past. I'm retiring. I retired from the tax.
Does your firm do it?
No.
You're done.
No, it's something that, again, going back to good to great, I felt like we couldn't do our best work if we were going to do tax prep.
Yeah.
We do tax planning, a lot of tax planning,
yeah.
But the actual compliance and tax prep work, it was taking us away from what I feel we do best on the planning side of it.
That word compliance drives me insane. So I have such a problem with authority and all of that stuff. How do you do it? Like, how do you live in that world of like, I think there's an aspect of like, you got to be careful some stuff you say on these podcasts.
Well, yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like, isn't that how deep the compliance goes in your world?
It is. I mean, just listen to the sponsorship on my part and how much has to be said after it. It's just my world, I guess, and I guess you have to abide by it. I get it. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of bad financial advisors in the past, and so, but it's burdensome. But at the same time, I love what I do, so you just play by the rules.
Yeah, I remember when we were doing, so we'll take a break here in a second, listen to some of our community supporters, which Brian and Eweth was part of it. But remember when we were doing all the ad copy and stuff, and I was recording those, and we had to go back and forth and like that's
my world.
That's the depth of it, right?
That's our world, yeah.
All right, well, let's listen to that, right?
Yeah.
We're going to tee that up.
There we go.
That'd be the first
Let's
one.
do it.
So let's listen to some of our community supporters. First one is going to be Eweth. Let's listen to his ad and a few of the other ones, and then we're going to be right back with Brian. If you're an entrepreneur or married to one, your journey is complex. You want financial advice that impacts your whole net worth, including your business, not just stock market investments. You also want a partner that quarterbacks the relationships between the CPA, estate planner, banker, and other trusted advisors. That's where the team at eWealth Partners comes in. We love helping you and your spouse design a financial plan that aligns and empowers you. A plan that addresses your concerns, priorities, and goals tailored to reach your long-term vision. A long-term vision that is worth the pursuit today. Visit ewealthpartners.com to learn how they can help couples like you. eWealth Partners, holistic financial planning for entrepreneurs. Investment advisor services offered through AdvisorNet Wealth Management. eWealth Partners and AdvisorNet Wealth Management are not affiliated. Every year brings new challenges for Minnesota business leaders, and USI Insurance is here to take the pressure off of the employee benefits decision. Having a local presence with national resources, USI combines a client-centric culture with leading-edge technical resources so you can make an informed decision on your benefits investment. The USI team has been deeply committed to investing into our local communities and utilizes their expertise to provide solutions you can count on to protect your greatest asset, your employees. USI has been partnering with Twin Cities businesses for decades, and they would welcome the opportunity to do the same for you. Visit USI.com to learn how USI's approach to risk management and employee benefits delivers customized, actionable solutions with bottom-line impact. When you think of a typical CPA firm, you probably think of tax planning. Well, that just scratches the surface of what Boulay offers their clients. By providing smart, in-depth thinking from experts in accounting, audit, tax, and business consulting, they know what it takes to achieve financial success. Whether it's protecting your business, building your wealth, or securing your future, you can count on Boulay to go beyond addressing just financial matters and providing you with tailor-made, workable solutions. Learn about all they have to offer at BoulayGroup.com. Boulay, helping you get there. Verseek Search and Consulting is thrilled to support Coalition 9 and this podcast, and we are just as excited to have them as a partner. Verseek is a Minnesota-based, high-performance recruiting firm that specializes in interim solutions, direct hire, and executive leadership search. Their team of experienced professionals and seasoned leaders across various areas of expertise and industries have been in your shoes. They quickly assess your whole company and identify key elements that will take your business to the next level. Your company's success hinges on the capacity of your people, and few areas of your business are more critical than your finance and accounting team. Your company's success hinges on the capacity of your people. Verseek can help connect you with the talented candidates within finance and accounting, along with other areas of expertise in executive search, direct hire, and interim solutions. People are the ultimate business advantage. Find your people together with Verseek and make the best possible for your business. Learn more and contact Verseek by visiting Verseek.com and following them on LinkedIn. All right, everybody needs a bank. Not just any bank, a good community bank. From personal needs like checking and savings accounts to business services like financing and M&A support, the team at Flagship Bank is there to provide you with the assistance you need so you can spend less time thinking about your finances and more time enjoying what your money can do for you. To learn more, head over to Flagship Banks, that's flagshipbanks with an S.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Flagship Bank, investing in you. All right, that was good. See, a lot of detail there at the end, a lot of compliance at the end there. Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to talk about regarding your business? Is there anything I should know? Like, I love your visioning process, and I love that you use the term quarterback role.
Yeah.
You and I have a lot in common. The fact that we both love to serve entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And so, is there anything like I'm pumped to know that you took tax away from all that.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine that smoky area that is tax could weigh you down. In your business, how many team members do you have right now?
We're at 3. We're looking to be at 4 in the next 12 months, if not earlier. And
what does that fourth person look like?
The fourth person, we would have them. It would be more of a behind the scenes kind of what we call it a processor.
Yep.
And so that would help the other members of our team more be client facing.
Yep.
And then really the vision, and I feel like it could happen overnight. I mean, we want to be, what we call a boutique size firm of, 10 to 14.
Okay.
And that's actually been, quite honestly, more of the challenge that I've faced in the last 18 months is building out the team.
Yeah.
Especially when you have a very clear vision of what that looks like.
Yeah.
It's not as easy to find that right fit. And I do feel like there's been a potential, other advisors that would bring on and actually going through that right now of potentially bringing on some other advisors. But we will grow to, that size of 10 to 13. Hopefully that happens sometime in the next 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it will happen. Like it will accelerate pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But just as the business owner entrepreneur, I think we all know that hiring is not easy, and that's been a bigger challenge than I thought it would be.
I do want to talk about fun stuff.
Yeah.
I have one more question for
Yeah.
you. So, in your world, where you're doing this for other entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I still think it's got to be hard for you to do this for yourself.
Yeah.
Do you have someone that does this for you, or do you do it yourself for yourself?
That's a very good question, and something that I have been quite honestly wrestling with just recently over the last 6 months.
Yeah.
And it actually was because of this other advisor that I was looking to bring on. And so I have, the CPA and the tax side and the attorney that I take advice from. But when it comes to the own personal financial plan piece of it, I still control it, and it's something that I'm very open to.
Yep.
And that's been actually a movement in our profession to have an advisor, because there's really no reason why I shouldn't, right?
Yep.
To
Yep.
bounce it off of.
It's always good to have a third party, right? Like
Absolutely.
that's the role you play in
Absolutely.
that couple's relationship,
Yeah.
is that you're the third party to bounce ideas off of and help chart the course. I
And-
just think that it clouds things when there's an intimacy there of you doing the work.
Yeah.
And I think, business coaches have coaches.
Yes.
I always say to, like, when I meet people that are responsible for HR, human capital and talent,
Yeah.
like who's your personal development
Absolutely.
person? Like who's focusing on you? I just find that interesting.
Yeah, no, I love accountability, and I think I've said this before, but in the end, I think why people hire us to partner with them in growing their wealth and and figuring all that out is they want an accountability partner.
Yep.
And they want a coach. And yeah, we can do all these fancy things related to techniques on savings and tax minimization, all that. But in the end, if you ask the ones that continue to stay with us, is the accountability to their own goals.
Yep.
And then kind of the coaching through the scary moments of life.
Yeah.
And Coalition9 is, in a sense, an accountability group a group that I have. Another one is on the EO Entrepreneurs Organization Accelerator side.
Yep.
That they do hold me accountable on that side, but
Yep.
specifically to the personal finance is something I haven't given up yet.
All right. TBD.
TBD.
Maybe we'll get you on next year and we'll talk about that
Yeah,
and see where you're
absolutely.
at. Okay, some personal stuff.
Yep.
We were kind of doing a little bit of prep back and forth.
Yeah.
Actually, we did zero prep for this, but we did
20
like this
20
is our
seconds.
bit. Yeah, it was more email. But the last time you were on, which was like a year and a half or 2 years ago,
Yeah.
I think you had baby number 5 on the what?
Yep.
Or just had baby number 5, or
Just-
number 5 was on the way.
Yeah,
Remember
just I think within weeks or days.
that? Super close.
Yeah.
You have baby 6.
What? Yeah.
Is right.
Is that possible?
So,
Yeah.
like you have almost like a soccer team.
Yeah, we got to get up there to, I guess, the baseball team now.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Yeah.
Sorry, honey.
Yeah, right. She's like that. She loves us. Yeah. Yeah. Our baby number 6 is due late February, potentially
Yeah.
what a leap day baby. And our oldest, Cecilia, turns 8 in November. So we have
All kids between 0.
yeah. Right now it's currently 7, 6, 5, 3, 1.5, and then baby. So
Wow.
there's some some babies come over to our house, you'll see young kids everywhere.
I have 0 kids, and that is like
Come on over.
You're procreating enough for
Yeah,
for
I know
me
you
and
guys.
my brother.
Yeah, we know Social Security is underfunded, so it's that's the financial planning aspect of it.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
So, how do you see that 6 kids?
Yeah.
Having impact on how is your life gonna change when you add a 6th kid? Like,
6 kid? I don't think so.
right? Like
It's gonna be more fun.
right? I kind of feel like you probably have your rhythm down. No.
Yeah.
Now, your wife probably is obviously going to go through some big changes here with having the child, bringing the child into the world, and then the nurturing part at the beginning. But like in the grand scheme of things, is things going to change much in the day to day in the medium term?
No, and shout out to my wife Cassie as far as like holding that down.
Yeah.
Because it is young kids. It is chaotic. It's fun. It's what we wanted, and we're blessed to have such a big, beautiful family. But not to say it's easy at home. But will things change? I don't think so. But what that kind of reminds me of before marriage, when I was single, like most business owner entrepreneurs, you'd work 40, 50, 60 hours, like, and have no problem with it. And I did that for even the first or second kid, still was working a ton. Yep. Now just with like kind of family commitments, I can't work much more than 40 hours a week.
Right.
And so what that focuses you to do, which I should have been doing all along, is I got to do what I'm best at.
Yeah.
And so the whole elevate, yeah, exactly. Right. All that stuff. It just was kind of forced upon me because the life at home, I couldn't work as much as I used to. Yeah. And that has actually helped me really hone in on what I am best at and those skills. And so that's kind of the whole piece of it. Like we can encourage big families, even working with my clients, even like when we drop these financial plans, they're fluid, right? We're not setting anything in stone. And so not only are we going to be open-minded about the trajectory of the business and just life happens, but like we know that there's all these wild cards in life, and I will help you figure it out. And in that sense, that's kind of how I've taken it. Just, all right, hey, we're having a bigger family. I just got to be better at what I do. Yeah. And I have to be dang good so people hire me so I can support my family. I like that challenge.
Yeah. Work under pressure.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
When do you find time for you? Like the non-business shit. Like, what do you do for, like, how do you find so I want to talk a little bit about sports, and I have some fun questions for you about football. But like, is it like literally like on a Sunday afternoon, if you can carve out an hour to just hang out and watch the Vikes or something like that? Is that fill your cup
well,
a little
okay.
bit?
Yeah. So if I'm being honest with you, like there's not a lot of that these days. If there's any like hobbies or anything like I'm doing, it's with kids, and just being like, that's the mindset. Like, hey, this is something that if I want to go, a couple weekends ago, we went to a Friday night football game. And so I took our 3 oldest type of thing and have fun with it. Right. On the football side of it. Yeah. I do love watching the Vikings like every Sunday. And it kind of our rule at our house is, I watch it with the family. I did it with my parents growing up too. And the only way I can get my wife to watch it with me is I say, okay, for 1 quarter, I'll give you a back massage. And that's the way she'll watch.
My wife would lose her mind.
I know. So maybe I shouldn't have said that. Yeah. But so then that, just to kind of be okay with it. But like outside of that, there's just some men's like Christians like retreats that I usually do a couple times a year. Yep. And that has been really helpful. I'm going to be doing De Montreville in November. Kind of the silent treat.
So I don't even know when we're gonna these are gonna line up. I think yours is this is gonna drop sometime in end of October. But James Olson, is attorney. He's gonna be on the show here. I'm actually recording with him right after I'm done.
Oh, really?
But he just did De Montreville.
Oh, did he? Yeah, I know James well.
I don't care. He's like, I don't care what your faith is. Yeah, you should do it.
Nathan Young did it as well.
Yeah.
And it's just, and we said this on the last podcast, it's a time to reflect and, praise God in my world. But yeah, that, my wife, Cassie, kind of getting back to that, she does really promote me in doing that. And so, I guess that's where I am able to have some me time. But like the hobby stuff is this hobby stuff with kids, and I'm cool with it.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take another quick break, listen to some more of our community supporters, and we're going to come back with Brian because we're going to talk about football. United Healthcare is dedicated to helping people live healthier lives and making the health system work better for everyone by simplifying the healthcare experience, meeting consumer health and wellness needs, and sustaining trusted relationships with care providers. UHC is continually focused on building a modern, high-performing health system via improved access, affordability, outcomes, and experiences. With a network of over 1.6 million physicians and healthcare professionals in over 6,000 hospitals, United Healthcare is dedicated to connecting employers and their employees to better health by offering quality benefits designed for affordability. For more information, visit United Healthcare at www.uhc.com. United Healthcare, helping people live healthier lives. Regardless if you're a startup just figuring things out or a medium-sized organization with a full team, having a legal partner by your side is crucial. Seiler Law is fiercely loyal to their clients and are passionate about removing headaches and roadblocks that can pop up during the growth of your business. Whether you need general outside counsel, are planning a business transaction, or even need someone to guide you through the estate planning process, the team at Seiler Law are the advocates for you. Visit seilerlaw.com to learn more. Seiler Law, where experience meets pragmatism. The topic of talent is hot in organizations of any size, and I would argue none more than small to mid-sized businesses. That's why it's crucial to have a partner to help you navigate all the HR idiosyncrasies so you can focus on working on your business and not in it. Insperity is a full-service HR partner with a high-touch, high-tech platform helping owners work through challenges like employee retention, company culture, and benefits, just to name a few. Do yourself a favor and explore all they have to offer at Insperity.com. Insperity, HR that makes a difference. For more than 20 years, Kaisa has been the trusted financial advisor for women, business owners, executives, and high net worth families, developing financial plans designed to meet them where they are and propel them to where they want to be. Their mission is to remove the worry and stress associated with financial planning and replace it with clarity and confidence. The Kaisa team takes the time to understand each client's unique situation, from financial concerns to the visions that they have for current and future generations, in order to create a truly customized plan. Through consistent communication and personal attentiveness, Kaisa is fiercely devoted to personal well-being and financial prosperity. Get to know the Kaisa team and how they can serve you at kaisawealth.com. If you're anything like me, you know enough to be dangerous when it comes to finance, yet need some help when things get complicated. All-in-One Accounting provides the right financial expertise and leadership to align with your stage of growth. From outsourced accounting and bookkeeping to strategic financial planning, the team of accounting rockstars at All-in-One Accounting are passionate about positively impacting the businesses and lives of their clients. You need to check them out at allinoneaccounting.com. All-in-One Accounting, taking our clients from financial chaos to business clarity and beyond. In addition to the community supporters you heard from on the show today, I also want to give a quick shout out to our evolving level community supporters, Carlson Partners, Fluid Interiors, Keystone Group International, Modern Foundation, and Rev Advisory Group. All right, Brian, I said, like, I think this is going to be a shorter episode. Yeah. It is not even. Yeah. Like, we haven't even
I'm
hit,
rambling,
like, half. No, like, this is just how this goes, man.
Okay, that's
like,
scrambled eggs,
and
right?
Super easy to talk about. Yeah,
right,
so we're
go.
scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
So, a couple things football related. All right, so I know you're a good high school football player.
Yeah.
You're a good college football player, St. John's.
Yeah. Average, maybe.
You're a good football coach.
Yeah.
So you coached for like 10 years at
Yep.
Rosemount, right?
Yep.
So taking all that stuff and all of the time that you've put into the game of football, there's a couple things that I think are having an interesting impact on the game.
Yeah.
The first one I want to dive into is NIL.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's really interesting about this, and I think we'll probably get this guy on the podcast, Chad Welk is one of our members. He owns a company called Illusion. They do placement and recruiting for
really?
for college students.
Oh, wow.
And then I think they also do like some kind of NIL representation, or
wow.
they have something to do with NIL. All right, so NIL.
Yeah.
Now, I know that wouldn't probably have affected you at St. John's, but I'm hearing more and more that it actually is trickling into D2, D3 because
really?
then, like I even think that there's a player, and I don't know what sport it is, for St. John's that's really good. And I kind of want to say it's volleyball, but like local businesses, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess
I could see
she's
that.
like super good.
Yeah.
And maybe it's St. Cloud. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's talk in hypotheticals then. But like local businesses are paying her to represent and be on commercials and radio commercials and all that other stuff, represent their products and stuff like that. So, and then you look at like where we're at with so football, Caleb Williams,
Yeah.
number 1 player in college.
Yeah.
He's talking about not going to the draft, playing another year at USC, and because he gets paid more as a college athlete than he would in his rookie contract. What in the hell is going on?
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it, if I'm being honest. The one interesting thing, even before NIL, is if you go to any facility, around the world, what are typically the nicest? It's usually the college universities and their athletic complexes. Isn't it kind of mind blowing how beautiful those are? And so, especially on the bigger level, and so then that's like, okay, there's so much money. Dollars, specifically going into the D1 piece of it. And then there's these players that are, they're not, they do get, the scholarship piece, right? Yeah. And that's worth something, but I don't have a problem. Maybe it's more kind of, we'll say entrepreneurialism and capitalism in a sense that like, if someone wants to pay them, I have no problem with that. Now, how does that blur academics with it?
Yeah.
Is college is it going to turn into just some type of like semi-pro?
I was just going to say like AAA baseball. Or
yeah.
Like Bush League, right?
Right. But I don't know how it's all going to play out. I don't have any problem with it if I'm being honest, especially kind of in football. And I guess you could say probably most sports, but to protect them, and the injury is so unknown. And if Caleb's going to get his money in college, so be it, right? Especially, getting into the whole running back piece of it. If they're going to make more in college.
And I think some are, right?
Yeah.
And I think that what the NFL has established, I think we're going to see a shift here in the next couple of years of like running backs having more viability and getting paid. Yeah. But like, I think too, what happens? I was just listening to sports radio the other day, cutting my grass, and they were talking about like what happens if Caleb Williams gets hurt in his college season. Like the money from being the number 1 pick to being the number 5 pick to being the number 10 pick, and then if you slide even into the 20s, like I look back on like when Aaron Rodgers was picked and he was number 21, and he was projected to be like number 3. The amount of money that he lost then, years ago, 20 years ago, whatever, that's insane. I mean, think of the impact that could have. Now he's gonna, it's almost like short-term gain versus long-term gain. And what game do you play? Yeah,
I don't know.
I know, it's crazy.
It is crazy. I'm sure those guys need a good financial planner.
Yeah. All right. The second thing I want to talk about. So we're recording this beginning of October, and so who knows how this is going to play out. But we got to address what's going on with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and the impact that has. Like, they're talking about like viewership has spiked. The jersey sales for Travis Kelce has spiked. They're the number 1 podcast in New Heights, which is a great podcast, really? By the way. Is the number 1 podcast in the United States. Now it was funny how people were talking about how Travis Kelce kind of bitched about how NBC was exploiting Taylor Swift and all this other stuff at their last broadcast. But what's crazy is you would combine every single NFL player on Instagram, and their followers are 5% of what Taylor Swift's are.
Yeah, isn't that mind blowing?
Think about that.
Yeah.
Like it is insane. She has brought in to the United States economy $58 billion.
Holy smokes!
I think it was with a B.
I believe it.
Like that's nuts. It can't be.
Wow.
Is that a misprint? 50 billion? I don't know. It can't be. No. 50
It's a lot of money. I don't know.
It's global. Yeah. I don't know. Like what she does for the economy, that's what they said. I read it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think this is they're going to be like, how are they going to be able to sustain this?
I don't know. Major League Baseball is like, how can we have her date one of our baseball players?
Or just anybody, right? Like, it's insane. Like, I don't know. I just think, now think about that impact. Being a former player, how much of that noise and all of that stuff truly has an impact on an individual performance?
At that level, I have to say I don't think it has much impact. When you're a professional of that grade, like that outside noise part of it, it shouldn't impact your game.
Yeah.
It could impact things outside of that, but you kind of check that, I would think, at the door.
Yep.
And you play your game because that's what you're great at.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're just kind of used to that just through, and we could even say this to, financial markets, like media hyping stuff that shouldn't be hyped type of thing. Do you listen to the noise, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I just think it's hilarious, and being a big football fan, like, okay, Taylor Swift, if you're going to promote football, great, and get more people to watch it and get interested in it. I'm game. Yeah. But yeah, it shouldn't be a distraction to Travis Kelce. If it is, I don't know.
Let's see what. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Taylor Swift financial impact United States $5 billion. Okay, there was a mistype, but still $5 billion in consumer spending in the United States alone in 2023. I mean, the impact that has on anything, much less the NFL, which is just a machine.
Do we even know if they're dating? Or are they just...
Oh, yeah, they confirmed it.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah.
See, I haven't followed that much, but...
Yeah,
because it could be a whole PR
she
thing,
got
right?
Snuck out. That was the big conspiracy theory. Was that, yeah. But I think she got snuck out in a popcorn cart.
I think I saw
and
that.
something like that. And so now, again, we're recording in the beginning of October. Vikings play the Chiefs this weekend in Minneapolis. Everyone's freaking out that if Taylor Swift is going to be there. To me, this is just a whole another level of insanity, where it would totally make sense if there was some kind of conspiracy behind it.
Yeah, I could see it.
Set up.
Yeah. Do we think that they're going to still be dating when the Super Bowl comes?
Are they still going to be dating when this podcast drops?
What's your bet?
3 weeks? I don't know. I think, yeah.
What about the Super Bowl?
I think, yeah.
Yeah?
I do. So I think she's going on her European tour. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. I think so.
See? I'm making you think about that. I don't have an opinion. I have no idea. I wish them the best.
Yeah, me too. Love
you think we'll get invited to the wedding?
Love. Yeah.
This, probably after the Kelce Brothers podcast. This is probably number 2.
I think we're up there. Yeah. I think we're top 5.
Yeah.
I think we've slid a little.
Yeah.
Bit. Yeah. And are we just talking about Excelsior?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like the people that are literally watching us from the window or whatever.
Yeah.
That was the first time I've ever fact checked on the podcast. So I'm glad we had something to fact check.
Yep.
All right, man. So anything else you want to talk about?
No, this has been fun. It's been cool to support Coalition 9. I've said this the last time, but what you've done and just creating our group, we have such a tight group, and it has just helped me grow professionally, personally, just for a sound check and board of directors. It's been really cool. And so I keep supporting you, and and you're an awesome dude, and I enjoy every moment of it. So good work.
Thanks for I didn't ask for that plug, but I appreciate that. And it was really cool to get a text from one of the people within your group that's a newer person about how much she absolutely loved.
She did awesome
the last couple sessions.
Yeah.
And so she said, I challenged her because we have a little too many guys in there. We got to add one more woman into your group. Yeah. But she's like, you are 100%. Or I think she said 1,000% right. Like, the guys in my group are different.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really cool statement about like the culture that you've built within your group, of like the vulnerability that you've got is next level, man.
Yeah. The whole group together collectively. It's been really impressive.
And I can see that out of you just as I've gotten to know you, and I don't talk to you all the time, but like we've spent some time together. Like I can see you being that. You're a pretty emotional person.
Yeah.
Right? Like you may not have always been like that, but maybe with having 5 kids, 6 on the way, like that's going to soften you up a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
But then, being able to be in a space and talk about some things. I know you're in a couple different groups, EO and C9, and so you're in there for different reasons, which is great. Yep. But I think that being able to shed that layer, I think that just says a lot about your personality, and probably why you're just freaking good at what you do, because you're not trying to be like some kind of stoic,
Yeah.
you look like me today.
Yeah.
You got a flannel shirt on
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff, like you're just a normal guy. And I think that that approachability speaks volumes.
Yeah, I just say the more that people can, let it go to the heart in the Coalition9 groups, like you'll get more out of it on both sides of it, professionally and personally.
I
So
think that's a metaphor for life though too.
Yeah.
Like, I think vulnerability is being more and more the norm.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think like there's always been a stigma around vulnerability, and I don't care what gender you are. Like in certain circles, like it just isn't cool to be vulnerable. Well, now I think we're getting better at just being able to just lay it on the line.
Yeah.
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 You see it in social media, which can be a little overboard.
Yeah.
But still, like I think being able to have a group of people come to every month and then outside of that to be able to just strip that layer off is super sweet.
Yeah. It has been.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Should we wrap this thing up?
Let's do it.
All right.
Went a little long, but that's what we do.
That's what we do. This was great, man. Yeah. Thanks a lot for talking through your process with me.
Yeah.
Thanks for talking a little bit of football.
Yeah. My pleasure.
And then we'll be excited next time you be on the podcast. Maybe you'll have like 7-8 kids at that time.
Yeah, we got to get back to work
Cassie,
after this.
Let's get to work here. Good luck with that. All right. On behalf of Brian, this has been the Power of 9 podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Eggert, and I want to thank you for the privilege of your time.